Oh, yeah.
Ooh, fiery.
Fire.
Speaking of fiery, welcome back to New Rockstars. We've come to the end of season 1 of House of the Dragon and the Rings of Power. But before we put away our fantasy after show in the stone casket and toss into the sea for people to find millions of years later, we've got some lingering questions and topics we want to discuss with you. You guys, this is Big Question Presents Talking Dragons, our weekly fantasy after show. I'm Jessica Clemons. Look at my hair. Look at
that
hair.
beautiful Targaryen hair.
Yeah, you guys still know who I stand for. The Greens. And I'm here
What?
with...
What?
I'm here. Eat those babies. I'm here with Brandon Barrick.
Hello, Jessica. I can't believe we've already gone through this whole season.
2 shows.
2 shows, 2 first seasons done, 2 prequels to series or movies that already exist. Exciting time. So much fantasy packed into this fall season. But, you know, before we go away for good, or not for good until these shows come back, we wanted to go over some of our biggest unanswered questions of these shows. And we're going to start with House of the Dragon, okay? And again, we're not going to give you any spoilers for what's coming in this series based on the book. We won't get into that.
Speak for yourself.
Don't give any spoilers. We might talk about what happens in Game of Thrones, which that series has already come out. And if you're watching this, you probably watched that. Maybe you didn't, but you should know these things.
What if people are starting with House of the Dragon, then going to Game of Thrones?
They could do that, I guess. They're going to have to wait for House of the Dragon to be over.
That is also
I don't know,
true.
But check it out. But we might talk about stuff that happened in the book up to this point. We won't spoil anything that's coming on for the show, so don't worry about that, okay? So Jessica, one thing that lingers in my mind is one of the biggest changes from the book that we had on this show, which was confirmation that Laenor Velaryon, the son of Corlys and Rhaenys, married briefly to Rhaenyra, had kids with Rhaenyra, except he didn't have kids with her.
They tried.
He tried. But in the show, they fake his death so that he can run off with Sir Carl and allow Rhaenyra and Daemon to marry. Now, in the books, it's pretty much assumed that he's dead or confirmed that he's dead.
Yeah.
There's various stories of how he died. And the fight between him and Sir Carl happens like in Pentos.
But wasn't it also still in the book rumored? It was just like a bunch of like he said, she said.
Yeah, there was like a rumor that he might be alive, but like most everyone agreed that he was dead.
Yeah.
The book pretty much made it clear that he was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was that. There was just like a question of how he died, who was behind it, all those kind of things. But now the show has kind of showed that he's alive. He survives. He fakes his death. He sneaks away, and he sails off with Sir Carl to go have fun with the boys. I don't know what else he's going to be doing. But this is my big question, Jessica. Could we see the return of Laenor Velaryon in this series, perhaps under a different name? Like, the book can remain correct in that we never see Laenor Velaryon again, but maybe we see Vaenor Laenarian show up, and he wants to fight. You know what I mean?
I would hope he'd come up with a better name than that. But I do think maybe we'll see him eventually, but just not in the second season. I feel like for storytelling purposes in the show, it would be fun to see him, like, if they go up to like even 8 seasons, see him in, like in the 6th or the 7th, and then be like, that's the boy.
Yeah.
That's the boy. And maybe he's like low down on his luck, like straight up, like so bad. And it's just like, Carl's gone.
Carl's gone.
He took my money and he ran, or he got killed or something.
I lost a lot of money in the child fights.
I don't know why I keep betting on these kids.
I keep betting on these blonde-headed kids. It was a
The
bad
one with
idea.
the sharpest teeth was the one I put the most money on. No, but what I think there's maybe even more a higher chance of us seeing Carl than seeing.
Oh, Sir Carl coming back.
And I think that would be fun.
And they're like,
see.
"Where's Laenor?" And they're like, "I lost him."
I hit you because I'm like, what if he comes back? What if he comes back? What if he comes back? He goes straight to Daemon and he's like, I need more money. He's like, I need more money.
Or I'm gonna spill the beans.
Or I'm gonna spill the beans.
Ooh, he like extorts Daemon and Rhaenyra over time.
I mean, stupid idea for Carl to do when Daemon is a loose cannon, and
you don't wanna,
he knows that.
You don't want to bring Daemon bad news.
Or
he doesn't react. He kills the messenger. You know
Carl
what I mean?
could do that to Daemon, or I forgot I put on makeup. He could do that to Daemon, or he could go to. Well, I don't think he would go to Sir Criston Cole because Sir Criston Cole beat the shit out of that one guy.
Yeah. I mean, I could see him trying to get revenge for Joffrey on Sir Criston Cole. I don't know if that would be successful. But if that just kind of like sits with it for a while, maybe him and Carl are on the outs for a little bit. And he's like, man, I miss my boo Joffrey. I wish he was still around. who's that crazy guy who killed
Yeah.
him? Oh yeah.
It would have to be Laenor. It couldn't be Carl because Carl is known as the guy that killed him.
Yeah.
So it would be like as soon as anyone saw him, they wouldn't ask him for any like.
Because in
why?
theory, Rhaenys and Corlys probably have like a bounty out for Sir Carl that's out there.
Oh, absolutely.
If they're still mad about it, they've kind of made peace with the fact that they think Rhaenyra was behind their son's death. They've made whatever peace they need to make with that. They've aligned with Rhaenyra. They're ready to support her. I guess she's the lesser of two evils in their minds, right? They get to keep Driftmark in the family. They get to hold on to the power that they have. And as Rhaenys saw, she sees Rhaenyra as the better leader, right? Rhaenys in this series has this unique aspect of like being there to see how both Alicent and Rhaenyra act to Viserys' death,
100.
to see the choices they make going forward. And she tells Corlys, like, she's the one holding the realm together. She's the one keeping these men from plunging it into war.
Real talk.
So that's the choice
The reveal of seeing Laenor. First off, that's also the thing, is I don't think there's going to be a world in which we see Laenor and Corlys and Rhaenys are still alive.
Oh, no.
They're going to be
never see him
dead.
again.
And they're never going to see him again. They're going to die knowing that he's dead.
He's still kind of mad at his dad.
That's true.
I mean,
it's like
in Showtime, it's been like 6 years, but
Yes.
like he's still mad at his dad in theory.
But I think it was. I honestly think that episode where he saw when he was like sitting in the water and was like, "My sister's dead," was the turning point for him. To be like, because it's like there's nothing. I don't care. Which I honestly didn't know he was that close to his sister, which is bad on my part. But like.
They didn't have time in the show to like really get into
to get into his relationship with her, but it clearly affected him to the point of like, I can just run away and never come back and not care that my parents will probably think I'm dead.
Well, and his sister was very accepting of him and understood his situation, and he probably confided in her a lot. They rode dragons together. They loved each other, and it's sad. Yeah, he really doesn't have much to come back for. I would love, though, as this kind of Dance of the Dragons kicks off, Greens versus Blacks, to have a few years down the line, Laenor show back up again, maybe to help out Rhaenyra in some way as like, hey, thanks for not killing me for real, or thanks for giving me this out, Because right before he fakes his death and leaves, he's ready to like put it all to bed. He's like, I'm gonna be a better husband, I'm gonna be here for you, I'm gonna be here for the kids, I'm gonna take care of us. And she's like, I really appreciate that, but I got damn it, I don't really need you for all that. But he was willing to like give it all up, give up what little freedom he had. He was ready to put it all away to be there for her. So it would be fun to see him come back and like save her in a situation at some point under a different name, and that's how he's kind of lost to history. So I really hope he does show back up again.
Yeah,
maybe not season 2, but like season 3, season 4.
I wouldn't care unless he's like he has to be like bad. He has not like bad as in like a bad guy, but like straight up like I need something. I need help.
Right.
Like I want to see him that way. I don't want someone to run away on a ship and he's working on the ship and just be like, I was once a prince. Like I need him to be like I don't know why, but I think for storytelling it just makes it better when it's like he is now a risk to everyone. Like if anyone sees him, I want him to be the risk.
Right.
I want it for
He's got to keep that head shaved. They won't recognize him as much with that shaved head.
Which seems harder during them. What do they use to shave your head?
They all got swords.
What if they're just
daggers,
burning it off?
Oh, no. They got razors and swords. They got daggers,
that close?
little knives.
What is this, Sweeney fucking Todd?
Yes,
How close do you think he is to it?
Meat pies.
So meat pies.
Meat pies. That's all I got from Sweet Todd.
That's all you need.
That's all you guys. Meat pies. Meat pies. There was a comment on our last video from the user YourTube, and I kind of love this idea. He said, I believe that as Lucerys Valerian fell from the skies, Sir Laenor Valerian was sailing the seas below, and he actually caught his true-born son and saved him.
Well, the thing is, that's one
and they row off together.
That's one of the off storylines that people believed. There was like someone that did say they wound up on
Lucerys survived, right?
He survived. He wound up on the like shoreline and straight up
he was just like,
lost his memory. Yeah, and he's like, get on. Just get on.
I'm not your real dad, but I'll take care of you, boy.
Remember me? That is so stupid because you mentioned it and I watched a TikTok that was going over the map and was like, yeah, everything is very close by.
Yeah, they're all very close, right? Like Storm's End and Driftmark and
very close.
King's Landing, they're very close to each other right there in the steps.
Yeah, literally. Literally, you can throw a rock from where Daemon is to the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it'd be so stupid for him to be that close to everybody and be
Yeah.
no one's gonna know who I am.
I
love it.
I wonder too. It's 6 years since Laenor died, right? And we know that Corlys left his wife and went fighting in the Stepstones for a little while. And before all that had kicked off, remember when Laenor was with Rhaenyra and he was kind of like, man, I just want to be out there fighting in the Stepstones. I missed that. I wonder if any point during those 6 years when he's hanging out in Pentos or Bravos or whatever he's doing in the free cities, he was like, oh, I hear there's war. I hear the Triarchy's up to their old shenanigans. I'm going to go check because I hear my dad's fighting. And
Just watches?
He could be in a fight on the side and just like watching his dad.
What?
Being like, acting like a sellsword and just fighting off on the side for something else. Corlys doesn't see him, but he's just checking in on his dad and being like, huh,
See his
he
dad.
still got it.
Still
The old
got
man
it.
still got it.
He still got
That
it.
son of a bitch.
Yes, and then he walks away.
And then he
just
walks
leaves.
away. Then he sees him get cut. And he's like, I gotta go.
Ooh,
Whoops, whoops.
yeah.
Whoa, I'm out of here. Laenor Valerian, come back. We miss you.
One of us does.
He was a good guy.
I think he's fine.
He
I
was a
just don't
good
care if he
guy.
comes back. That's like being like, I don't know. I just don't care if he comes back.
I know, but
And
as,
you
as,
said
as
this
like a
was-
surprise from the book, I think it's fun. And I love this idea
Mm-hmm.
that like the book has this unreliable narrator or narrators.
Yeah.
We don't know what's actually true. And the show is trying to say this is what's actually happened.
Yeah, this is what
that
actually
history has
happened.
forgotten or misunderstood.
I guess the reason I'm like, I don't care whether he stays or goes is more so it's just like, again, I want that, not justification, but I just want him to be like a risk or liability for story's sake, where it's like him showing up shakes up a lot of things.
Yeah. He's a
I don't
loose
want,
end.
I don't want it to be like, you saw me good and now come with me. I don't.
No,
I,
it's not that. Yeah,
it
yeah.
can't be that. And so that's why I'm like, I think it's just best if you just don't show up. Stay dead. Stay
Stay dead. I do like your theory though that Sir Carl shows up wanting more money. I
Yeah.
do like that one. That's a great idea. Before we get into our other topics today, just one more reminder to check out newrockstarsmerch.com, where it's your last chance to grab our latest Obsession shirt, Ash and Ruin, inspired by the House of the Dragon. This limited edition shirt is not going to be available for much longer. This is it. This is the end of the line, folks. So be sure to grab one before it's wrapped up by the Silent Sisters and burned on a funeral pyre, baby.
Damn.
They can't talk about it. They're silent.
You know,
You'll never know.
What is it? What do they say? You gotta kill your babies sometimes, right?
Kill your darlings?
Kill it. Oh, I thought it was babies.
Well, sometimes people throwing babies out with the bathwater, kill your darlings. I think it all gets mixed together.
Same with House of the Dragon.
Dead babies. It's House of the Dragon, folks. So check out all the great merch options over at newrockstarsmerch.com. Can't wait to watch a show where less children die.
What?
That'll
Yeah,
be
I
nice.
think this is the number 1 versus like, because in The Walking Dead, there's some baby zombies.
Yeah, that's some sad
But
stuff too.
but the baby's walking, so you don't
Yeah.
get really like sad like this one where they
Well,
get
and a lot of
burned.
the dead babies here are not as because of zombies. They're just because of maesters. We've got to stop these maesters.
Look here. You don't know how hard it is.
You don't know how hard it is to not know magic or
And
science.
then not really know the anatomy of someone,
Just
and you're
wash
like,
your hands,
I
folks.
think,
Wash your hands.
and they're just straight up moving organs around, and they don't know anatomy.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why they,
They're trying to learn. They're trying to learn. They're
on
trying to learn.
an alive princess.
Well,
Okay,
I mean, that's what humans did for a long time here in our world. We also want to thank Wondery for sponsoring the show today. Go deeper into the canals of Numenor and the mines of Khazad-dûm and more with the official Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power podcast. Host Felicia Day and several special guests provide an inside look at the groundbreaking series and what it took to bring Middle-earth to life. Each episode of the official podcast features exclusive interviews with the series showrunners J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, including the very first full breakdown of the incredible season finale. And what a finale it was. Felicia also goes behind the scenes with the cast and crew to bring you jaw-dropping stories and Easter eggs you won't want to miss. Watch The Rings of Power on Prime Video and listen to all 8 episodes of the official Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, for free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app now. You can also listen to music from that show, which that show has had some really incredible music. I very much have enjoyed it. So has House of the Dragon. Good music all around.
You never
Good
say
music
that
all
about
around.
my music.
Your music's okay. I find it derivative, Jessica.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
That's the truth.
I'm
We're
gonna
talking
treat
dragons.
you. I was gonna say I'm gonna treat you like one of these
No,
babies.
Jessica's singles are great. Check out our latest EP, available now on Spotify.
and Target.
And Target. She's at Target. Selling it in the housewares aisles. Okay.
I'm standing there. You want to buy my album?
Hey, you want to buy an album?
You want to buy my album?
If anyone offers to sell you a CD, do not buy it. Do not buy it. Don't buy CDs off the street. That's for anyone walking around Hollywood.
I say do it.
Don't do it.
You never know what's on it.
It's not good. All right, Jessica. My next lingering question here. As we say goodbye to a monarch, I want to ask you, Jessica, was Viserys a good king? And before we answer that question, we got a little clip from the show. We got a little clip from the show where he was wondering the same thing before his body completely fell apart into a billion pieces.
Yeah,
let's take a look at this clip.
Will I be remembered as a good king, Lionel? What will they say of me? I have neither fought nor conquered, nor suffered any great defeat. But it hardly makes a good song, does it? To be sung at feasts in 100 years. 500.
Is it not better to live in peace than to have songs sung after you are dead?
There is a part of me wishes I'd been tested.
So yeah, he was worried about that, and that was episode 5 or 6. He lived for several more years after that.
Yes,
surprisingly, he was already in bad shape.
Well, he had
then.
both his arms then.
Yeah, as Jessica pointed out, R.I.P. to both of those characters. And Paddy Considine, the actor who played Viserys, what a performance this season!
So great, so perfect.
Incredible.
Saw him
so
at the House
incredible.
of Dragon premiere.
Yeah.
A lot shorter than I thought.
Yeah, we saw him at the premiere screening with his family, and if I had known
He was
then
the coolest guy
what
that
I
showed up.
knew now, like I would have talked to him.
I would
all
have
night.
I beelined for Matt Smith instead. But
yeah, we didn't know. I mean, because the books, they don't treat Viserys very well.
No.
And Paddy Considine even said that George R.R. Martin texted him and said, like, you were a better Viserys than my Viserys. Because the book, for a lot of these characters, doesn't have the time or the pages or the patience to flesh out their kind of how they changed over time, you know, how they had nuances to them.
No.
I mean, this show is about characters who are all flawed in many ways. None of these characters are true good. They all have bad parts of them. They all have bad parts of them. But what leads to their bad decisions? What leads to what we consider the darker parts? But was Viserys a good king? You know, he's talking there like he wanted to be tested. He wanted to go to war, but he knew he was a dreamer and not a dragon rider. And he did everything he could to kind of keep peace in the realm for good and bad, because he was so afraid of Aegon's dream, the prophecy, the Song of Ice and Fire. That was his concern.
yeah.
But in the end, Otto is quick to call him Viserys the Peaceful, right? That is his song that will live on in the history books, calling him Viserys the Peaceful. Otto might be the only one saying it, but someone's saying it.
Peaceful.
So do you think Viserys was a good king?
Yeah.
You do?
I thought he was bad at first, but then you also have to think about what makes someone a good king. And there's too many qualities that are going to be negative and too many qualities that are going to be pro. So it's just like, yeah, he's the only one that like didn't really start wars.
Right.
Did keep peace amongst the realms and genuinely just was there. Because compared to what Aegon is about to do, it doesn't seem like he's going to be a good king. And then what we see going forward in Game of Thrones, we're like, yeah, still not really a good king. So
And that's that question of like, if you want to be king, doesn't that mean you shouldn't be king? Though Aegon II doesn't want to be king, and I don't think he's going to be a good king.
He's not going to be. From what we're already seeing,
Well, just
he's not
that
gonna
one
be a good
scene
king.
of seeing him be like, I don't want to, and then like, oh, all these people love me?
Yeah.
I want it.
Literally, what
Not
have we
good.
learned from all of Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what we shouldn't want.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think out of the kings that we've seen through Westeros and time, yeah, I think he's been the best one. Doesn't mean he's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he's the best one.
A lot of the lineage from Aegon the Conqueror to Viserys, in the book, it kind of swings back and forth between like what you would consider a good, just king who like follows by the rules and, you know, might do some killing here and there, but is like trying to keep the realm peaceful, to like something like Maegor the Cruel, right?
Yeah.
Who is awful and will kill everyone and doesn't care what he has to do that, and like rules with fear. And the small folk are kind of like tossed back and forth between these two variables. And then you get just Jaehaerys, who has a long reign of peace, right? Very long reign of peace. And Viserys sees this as his grandkid, sees how he rules, and tries to maintain that because he's given the prophecy, probably from Jaehaerys. I don't think it came from his father, because I believe Viserys' dad is kind of dead before he was kind of set up. He was definitely dead before the Great Council that sets him up as king.
Okay.
But I don't think Viserys was really planning to be king when he's growing up with his dad, because his dad was not the firstborn of Jaehaerys. Jaehaerys' firstborn son dies at some point, and then Viserys' dad thinks he's going to be king, but then he dies too. He just gets like stomach problems. Viserys brought that up when he kind of accuses Otto of maybe killing his dad, but right before he fired him. But yeah, I see what you're saying though, Jessica. I think Viserys was a good king for the realm in that he's maintaining peace.
Yeah.
When everyone wanted to go fight in the Stepstones, he was like, no, we shouldn't do that. It's a bad idea. And it did kind of turn out to be a bad idea. Corlys and Daemon were there dealing with it for like 4 years and couldn't get it done. And then Corlys winds up going back there for another 6 years and almost dies. So he was right to stay out of that mess. But at the same time, he had people kind of pushing him either way. Otto's kind of leading him wherever Otto wants. So, I don't know if that makes him a good king. He really only cared about Rhaenyra. It doesn't seem like he cared about his other kids.
I don't think you need to be a good king based off who you love of your offspring.
Well, but I mean, you should be setting them up for success. I don't know. Like,
I don't know. It's like, again, I guess it would come down to like what qualities make you a good or bad king, because it's like, yeah, you should be setting them up to like do that, which he was with Rhaenyra, because Rhaenyra was supposed to be heir to the throne. So he did. He was like, I'm going to tell you the secrets. I'm going to tell you what to do. So he was doing that. It's not his fault that Alicent immediately was like, never mind, you said this one. I'm going to throw this guy on here.
Well, and he wasn't planning on Emma dying. He loved Emma.
No, yeah. And also it's just like when you're so busy, you're so busy.
Busy drinking
You're busy.
and playing with your model.
You don't understand.
Your model city in your bedroom.
You don't understand. He's king of the seven. Why am I fighting for Viserys? Either way, well, this was not supposed to go as I planned. But yeah, I think he's still, again, based off of like the prior kings and going forward our next king. It's like, yeah, he wasn't also assaulting random small folk.
Yeah.
He wasn't ruling with a fist.
Right.
And he was genuinely like, the small folk were all like, even if some did hate him, it was still like, yeah, we're not gonna do anything though. It's like
there wasn't a
fine.
rebellion brewing underneath him.
Yeah, there's
right?
nothing. The only thing he's like at fault of is not going to war, so everyone was just killing each other within the kingdom.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah, I think he'll be remembered well. I don't think he did a terrible job. Maybe not the best king, but certainly not the worst that Westeros has seen, and will see. Next up, Jessica. Speaking of this prophecy, the dreamer Viserys, what's next for Aegon's Song of Ice and Fire? Okay, this was a big surprise for book readers in this show because this is not talked about in the book. And then in the first episode, we get this kind of surprise reveal that like, there's Aegon's Song of Ice and Fire has been passed down from king to king to king, and it's written on this dagger, the famous cat's paw Valyrian steel dagger that will eventually kill the Night King. What do you think Rhaenyra is going to do with this information now that she has it? She does not have the dagger. The dagger is still back at King's Landing. Now Aegon II has it.
I don't know. I don't really care about the
Who
Song
do you
of
think
Ice
she's
and
going
Fire.
to tell about it? You don't care. I mean, it's important.
I know it's important. I think that's
And it
why I
does play
genuinely
out.
am like, but I know Game of Thrones, so that's why I don't have
know
that.
how it ends.
That's the reason why I don't
Yeah.
have the attachment to it. I'm like, every time they bring it up, I'm like, yeah.
Well, but in this last
But it is
episode, right?
important.
In episode 10, we see how Daemon is ready to like get the dragons. Let's go to Harrenhal. Let's surround
Yeah.
King's Landing. Let's burn it all down. But in her mind, Rhaenyra knows I have to keep the realm together. I cannot plunge the realm into war right now because what if this prophecy starts tomorrow?
Yeah.
In her mind, it's going to happen any day now.
Yeah.
Because that's what her dad thought.
Yes.
And he was a dreamer. And so she's like, this could happen like any
So I guess,
moment.
well, the thing is, I don't think she's going to abide by it, and that's what's going to be the fall. Because if she's like, I need to keep the realm together, that's impossible when you literally just had your son ripped from you, and she's about to go.
We saw her war face at the very
Yeah,
end.
so it's like,
She's like, I'll put this prophecy on hold for a second.
Beep. she's gonna run up in there. She's gonna get on her dragon and just fucking go wild.
Do you think she's going to tell Daemon about it?
No, and I hope she doesn't. After she
okay.
got choked, I think she's losing faith in him.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
do
true,
think they're
and
going to start splitting apart a little
She got
more.
choked, and she was begging for him during childbirth, and he was just like, I'm too busy ruling at this light-up table. And so I think she's going to genuinely be like, this is the crossroads. This is the start of the crossroads. This is where it's going to start failing.
I can't trust Daemon with this information.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a reason why he never knew anything before. Like, I think that's what she should think about is the fact of like, your dad didn't tell other people. He only told you, which is how you should treat it. You're going to probably tell Jacaerys.
Right.
And that is it.
Okay. I think she will tell Jacaerys about
Yeah.
it because in her mind she's like, I gotta get you ready. You're the heir now.
Yeah, you're the heir
Something
now.
she said in the last episode that like, the responsibility of being heir is now like on you. Like you have got to help me here. And I think that will be part of this kind of bond she forms with him. Now, do you think her getting that dagger back is gonna be a main driving force for her? Is she concerned about getting that dagger back? Or is she even thinking about that?
No, I don't think she's thinking
You're
about
not
it.
even thinking about it?
I think she's gonna be blinded with like just anger
Right.
for a minute, and she'll get the dagger. And when she gets the dagger, she'll pick it up and be like, eh. But like right now, I think it's more so about like the war that's about to happen.
It would be interesting to see if, we don't know how the conversation went with the Starks in this last episode.
I think that we're gonna see it. I think it's gonna pick up
in season 2.
Yeah. I think
it
it's
would
gonna
be cool
pick
to
up.
see if that Rhaenyra, if the Starks are like, I don't know, we don't really want to support you. If Rhaenyra goes to Craig Stark and is like, look, here's the deal. There's this prophecy, a prince that was promised, blah, 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 blah. You guys are in the north. You're like the first line of defense after the wall. If this happens, you're in the crosshairs. So you need me to stay queen so that my lineage sticks.
If Starks want to believe it, I guess if she came to me and was like, "There's a prophecy," I'd be like, "It's a prophecy, so it might not happen." I'm like, "This is just an idea.
This is a maybe.
This is a maybe." I got a lot of people to feed.
Right.
Like I'm still protecting the wall in case other things happen.
Also,
like,
I'm a Stark. I don't really care about
Yeah.
you Targaryens and your dreams
we
and
are-
all that
we're
nonsense.
all the way out here.
I got
You
old
all the way over
gods.
there.
You got your weirdo gods. I don't even know.
I trust the old guys.
Yeah, I got this tree in my garden. It's crying.
It's crying.
Like, I don't care about your dagger. Where's the dagger? Show
Yeah,
me the
can
dagger.
you show me the dagger?
Can you show me
No?
the dagger?
Okay.
Oh, there's writing on it? I can't read that, okay? Okay?
Y'all
Don't
tricking
read
us
that
again.
high
Y'all
Valyrian
tricking us
nonsense. This
like
is
you
a
did
trick.
all the time.
This is a trick. Get out. Get out of here. Don't pet my wolves.
Don't touch
Don't
them.
pet my wolves.
Don't touch them with your
Don't touch
dragon
them.
hands.
Don't touch my
your
dire
dragon
wolves.
hands.
Yeah, I think you're right, though, that she's not going to tell Daemon about
No,
this.
she
Because
shouldn't.
even Daemon was like, I don't have time for
And honestly,
these omens and portents.
better like ammunition against him of being like, you don't know the secret.
Well,
you don't know things.
We do know that Daemon's main driving force, I still think he does not want to be king, but he wants the Targaryens in charge. And he wants to be the hand to whoever's the king. He wants to kind of push people around, but not be like in the position of having to be king. If you told him this thing, though, it would kind of fuel his fire to keep the Targaryens in power. But he kind of wants to do that anyways. He doesn't need a reason.
Yeah.
He doesn't need another reason.
Well, I think, yes.
I'm wondering if, well, this will kind of lead into our next question, actually, as I say that. Is there any hope for Alicent and Rhaenyra's relationship?
Absolutely not.
Well,
well, as soon as my son was ripped from his long-lasting life by your
Long-lasting
son,
life.
my brother,
Yeah, he was an envoy. He was there on a peaceful.
Your
just
third,
delivering a
I don't
message.
care, and no one will know. I guarantee it. No one will know it was an accident.
Mm-hmm.
I literally am gunning for you, dude.
Okay.
I'm gunning for you. And the thing is, Rhaenyra is such a sweet person that she won't go for her children.
No.
She's not gonna attack her children.
Well, she might go after Aemond at this point.
I don't think she would. I still think because she's still too much like Viserys in that way, where she was like, I need to hold the realm at peace. And honestly, I can't believe your son would do something like this. Actually, I can, because your children are wild as hell, Alicent. Her children are buck wild.
They're wilding out.
And I just lost one.
Yeah.
I just lost two within like a week.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're out of your mind. I'm not
She
gonna.
lost two the same day.
Yeah. Well, we're assuming it's the same.
Oh, the same. Yeah.
Same,
you're
that's why I
right,
said
right.
week. That's why I said week, just to give her a little
time.
So it's like, no, dude, your relationship is done. And it's also like, fool me once, shame on whatever. But like, it's like Otto keeps doing everything for Alicent, and it's like, I'm a woman, I am the queen, and I am at least standing up for myself, Alicent. You can't even come before your dad.
Yeah.
Like, you're out of your mind. Like, I don't trust Alicent. I
Right.
wouldn't be there for Alicent. She'd lose all my support. I don't care about that damn book.
Well, let's have a quick reminder of where their relationship started.
Yeah.
We got a clip here from the first episode of this season.
I want to fly with you on Dragonback, see the great wonders across the narrow sea, and eat only cake.
I'm being serious.
I never just about cake. Princess Nymeria led her Rhaenyra across the narrow sea on 10,000 ships to flee their Valyrian pursuers.
What are you doing?
So you remember?
Rhaenyra!
Rhaenyra.
They were best friends. They were BFF, and Alicent kept that
Look
page.
here. Look here.
Kept it. It meant so much to
Try.
her.
Try and rip a page out of my book and see what happens. Rip a page out of my book and don't trust Alicent.
They were gonna fly around and eat cake
and eat cake
and see the world.
And then her son was ripped from his life by hers.
Well, here's what I'll say, Jessica, and this is not, we're not spoiling anything here. In the book, Alicent and Rhaenyra did not have this like close relationship, or it wasn't established in the book that they knew each other when they were kids. And Alicent is presented very coldly in the book, very calculated, and as a big foil for Rhaenyra. And we don't get to see the kind of softer sides that they have. Mm-hmm. And at that dinner they have right before Viserys dies, you know, their relationship was like kind of getting repaired. And Rhaenyra very appropriately says, I'll return on dragonback. And we know when she comes back, she'll be on a dragon at some point.
At some point.
But I'm wondering if this is something that the show can do that the book couldn't do, where as the children get older, as Aegon and Aemond and Jacaerys, they get older and they have more agency over their actions, and they're no longer just doing what their moms say. If in the background, we'll discover on this show that Rhaenyra and Alicent are trying to work to undo this damage.
No.
And to fix it again. But you have a good
Absolutely
point
not.
that
And that's
Rhaenyra is going to be mad at Alicent
And that's the thing.
about
I don't
this.
care how apologetic Alicent is. I understand, but it's just like Rhaenyra has been like, every time my sons do things, I tell them to like talk with the most respect and to do everything, not fight. Fighting's the last thing.
Yeah.
But for some reason, your
made them
kids
swear
only
on
do
the-
that.
on the book.
Exactly.
Don't fight.
And you think you'd be fucking tired at this point of being like, I tell my children every day to rule with like respect and sweetness and kindness while your children are ripping through the realm, killing people, raping people. Like, this is insane.
Yeah.
So like, and I know that Rhaenyra is a better mother than Alicent. And Alicent also kind of didn't really want to be a mom in the first place. Neither did
Rhaenyra did not want to be a
Neither
mom.
did Rhaenyra,
That was her
but
biggest
Rhaenyra
fear.
became like, she recognized that, like, she knew, she was like, hey, I'm going to become queen one day. This is
Right.
going to be my offspring. That's going to be heir.
I need to
Like,
have a
I need
prince.
to do this.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Alicent was kind of like, my dad wanted this for me.
Right.
I didn't get to choose my lover.
Right. No. Or she didn't even get to choose when she was with her lover.
Yeah, or with her
Like,
lover. So it was like, that's why I'm just like, no, I don't want her to be, and she doesn't have to be.
Well,
There's no eye for an eye in this.
I am wondering if this Song of Ice and Fire, again, a thing that's not in the book, if that's something Rhaenyra could use to try and talk to Alicent and be like, look, Alicent, there's this thing you weren't told about, but it's very important. And I'm wondering if they have that conversation and Rhaenyra utters the words, the prince that was promised, and Alicent goes, oh, that's what he was talking about.
Either way.
My crazy old husband
That's still
before he
not-
died.
I-
And it's like, oh, whoopsie doopsie.
Whoopsie doopsie. That's still not they don't still have to be friends for that. They don't need to like, she can
Right.
say like, because of this prophecy, the realm, and they could still be like, okay, yeah, I'll make sure to note that and still hate
I'll write
each
that
other.
one down. I'll tell them
I'll write that-
Mason to write that down for
it's
me.
like, when are they going to be able to talk to her without Otto next to her? Or Aegon that's on the throne. So
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not going to...
Well, that's why I think if Rhaenyra and Alicent can find a way to get away from the
Also-
kids and be like, let's chat real fast.
What is Alicent going to do?
I don't
Because it's
know.
like, she's not the hand
Yeah.
and she's not the king.
Yeah,
so
she's going to be the Dowager Queen at this point.
she can be like, look here, please. And what did we learn
Aegon's
from
not gonna
Cersei and
listen to her.
Joffrey?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Joffrey was like, I'm not listening to you.
Well, here's the thing. If Alicent goes to Aegon and is like, I love you, please do this, Aegon would probably be like, okay, mommy.
I don't
thank you
think
for saying
so.
you
I
love
think
me."
now that he has the love of the small folk, he's like, I don't
need your
you.
love.
He's gonna be like,
Get out
away
of here,
from
Mom. Get out of my room. Trying to jerk off out the window, Mom. Get out of here.
me. Look
My
if you
favorite thing to
want,
do.
but I'm gonna stand here and jerk off out
Look
the
at
window.
it. You can stay. You can stay if you want, but I'm going to do it.
I'm gonna do it. That's how he jerks off. I hate this.
Someone's got to stop Aegon. Keep Aegon away from the windows.
Just
oh my gosh.
get rid of the windows. Put some bricks in it.
Okay. Okay, Jessica. This is a big question I've had all season and all for a while now, and it's been brought up. It got brought up on Twitter a little bit. So here we go, Jessica. How do dragons reproduce? Because they do not talk about this in any of the books. No one really knows how the dragons reproduce. Okay. I want to see what you think about this whole situation.
I want to see what you think.
We see Daemon, right? He goes into the Dragonmount, the volcano on Dragonstone, and he finds a little egg sac and he cuts open, boom, eggs. Like, oh, that's cool. We've never seen that before. Like, They make these little gross egg sacs that look like meteors or whatever.
Maybe the female dragons like lay the eggs, and then the male dragons hover and give the dragon goo, and that's the goo that we saw
dragon goo.
Damon ripped
that
through.
gets crusty on the outside?
And it gets crusty on the outside, but gooey still on the inside.
my
And
God.
so that's when Damon ripped through it. You see the goo.
So that's kind of like a fish, right? Like salmon.
Yeah, they work like
Like they
salmon.
lay the eggs and then the male comes and
They
like
also
squirts all over
follow
them.
through the current, like the moons.
Do you think that's what hardens the shell too? Because that's how it works for a fish egg. We've all had roe at a sushi restaurant. It's a permeable membrane around a fish egg. But the dragon eggs are very hard, right? They're like almost like rocks.
So they could.
Do you think it hardens after it gets inseminated? Is what you're saying?
100%.
Okay. Well, what we do know from the books, there's a lot of debate around it. So you have like Septon Barth, Grand Maester Munkin, and Maester Thomax. These people, they kind of disagree on like the mating habits of dragons, which makes me think no one has seen like dragons mate, which they could do it in the caves underground. Maybe that's what makes earthquakes.
It's probably
they
because
could do it in the sky.
It's
where
when
no
they're
one
at their
can
most
see.
vulnerable, so they don't want people to.
They don't want people to know.
Yeah, and if you watch it, maybe they'll like bite your head off. They're like mantis or something. I don't know, maybe.
Okay. Well, there's also the idea that like they don't even know how to tell the sex of a dragon. You can't tell.
You can't get that close.
Right, and the only way they can tell is when it lays eggs. So when Cyrax lays some eggs, they're like, Cyrax is a female. Great to know. Because I guess even when they're babies, you can't like sex a dragon. You know, some reptiles, they have cloacas, which is both, it's both genitalia and like an anus at the same time. And like with crocodiles and chickens and stuff, like you have to like kind of check inside the cloaca to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
That's all I know. So it's hard to do that with a dragon, right? I guess when they're a little baby, you maybe could do it.
You think they
but
have
in theory, it hasn't developed
their
yet.
pee-pee and butthole in the same place?
That's what a cloaca is.
You think the dragons have a pee-pee
I
and
think
butthole?
because they're like reptiles, I think they have, in your terms, a pee-pee and butthole in the same place.
What
Okay?
if you put it in and then you feel a different hole and it's just the butt and you just think it's a girl?
Then maybe that's a girl. I don't know. But you're not going to do that to a full-grown dragon, okay?
Okay.
But there's also this idea, okay, that dragons have no fixed gender and can be whatever they need to be, a la Jurassic Park. They're like changing sexes when they need to. Mushroom tells a story that when Jaehaerys flew his dragon Vermithor, who we saw in the last episode, up to Winterfell, it left some eggs up there. Now that's Mushroom, who's a little court jester and tells bawdy tales all the time. It's probably not true because those eggs are unaccounted for or whatever, and I doubt they might have eaten them at Winterfell. I don't know.
Can you eat a dragon egg?
If you could crack it open, I don't see why not. If you can get it open, it seems like a waste of money, but you could do it. So there was this. Some people believed that a dragon could change its sex when it needed to, but a lot of other maesters kind of disagreed with that statement, and they don't know. So you can't tell the sex of a dragon. We have no idea how they reproduce. I think they might just reproduce asexually. Like when a dragon needs to make more dragons, it just does it. And there's no sperm or egg involved. It just happens.
I believe
and any dragon could do it whenever they want.
I believe my dragon goo theory.
I appreciate your dragon
It's gross,
theory.
but I think it's true.
It's gross, but it does make sense, Jessica.
Thank you.
Because they do talk about like, oh, these eggs are from this dragon, but they never talk about the dad dragon. It's not like racehorses where they're tracking like thoroughbreds through generations. Like they have no idea who the male is in the situation. They're just like, oh, Cyrax laid some eggs.
I like
Thank
this
goodness.
is what the internet's asking, and then like if the show was real, they're like, there's other things to focus on. We're not
I mean, they have
focusing
all
on the
these
sex.
tapestries of Targaryens having sex with dragons, but no one has caught two dragons doing it. Let's figure it out, guys.
Do you think the Targaryens tried to have sex with the dragons?
I bet yes. I bet there's been a few Targaryens who have had very close relationships with their dragons.
That close?
That close.
I thought they would like share a goat
I
or
mean,
something.
Daenerys didn't use a saddle when she rode her dragon.
You think?
She rode her dragon bareback.
You think?
No, I'm
no.
not saying Daenerys did. I'm just saying that people have close relationships with their dragons.
Okay.
And if you're lonely one day
No,
and you're
okay,
just
there
with
it
your
goes.
dragon,
There it goes.
you know,
There it is.
It happens.
Also,
It
what
can
I just
happen.
thought about because of this discussion, when Vhagar ate the other dragon, basically, do you think that is the same? It like coincides with like how like a lion or a jaguar has gone crazy because it attacks.
Oh, it attacks like it's
not only its own.
or
Yeah, it's cannibalistic,
yeah.
but it also doesn't really care to eat. It's just like
just bit it.
destroying.
Yeah, it just destroyed it.
Do you think that's like Vhagar? Vhagar is just ultimately like we're like it's the oldest, most like whatever dragon, but genuinely it's like actually insane.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like it's been captive its whole life. Yeah. And it's had different riders throughout the years. It's seen a lot of battle. It's seen a lot of craziness. And I think that's a great point. It's just like, I don't care anymore. Blow fire in my face, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, I'm just going to.
Because like Vhagar has no reason to fear Arax.
I guess we don't. I guess we don't. I don't. Or at least I don't. I haven't seen it yet. That the dragons, even if it's not the same family of dragon, it's still like I see that as another dragon. I'm not gonna harm it. But like Vhagar, we have now seen harmed it harmed it pretty bad.
Harmed it.
Let me tell you, it's not coming.
It's harmed. It's harmed.
It's harmed.
Real quick, Jessica, before we go,
Yeah.
it's been a couple episodes since we did this. I would like to do a little Talking Tolkien.
Talking
Tolkien.
Wow, look at that graph.
It's been a minute. Yes, we dropped
that
off.
graphic.
We dropped off the Rings of Power a little bit on this show. Apologies to all our ROP fans out
I'm
there.
not apologizing for it.
We just had so much House of the Dragon to talk, and we just got a little, we got sidetracked on it. But I do want to wrap up with a little just kind of overview of Talking Tolkien, a little overview of Rings of Power. What did you think of the show overall? I really enjoyed it.
I liked it once it started getting fighty.
Yeah, you liked the battle when the battles started kicking off.
I like the battles, but to be fair, before the battles started kicking off, there were just certain groups I liked a lot more than others. Because I liked the dwarfs, and I liked the guy that was friends with. This is why we didn't talk.
The names are tough. You think
I
the
liked
names are
him.
tough on House
I
of the
liked
Dragon?
him. I didn't really, horrible I guess for me to say. I didn't really care for the elves.
The elves are
I
tough.
didn't care
They're
for the
tough
elves.
to like.
And they honestly, I'll be honest, they make it really hard to really like the elves.
I'm kind of with the men, the men and women of the world of Middle Earth. They're
Oh,
like,
I don't
these
hate
elves,
them.
get out of here.
It was more, to be fair, it was like, they were led by a guy that kind of sucked.
Oh, he sucks.
He sucked.
He sucks.
So that's why I was genuinely like, you guys are blindly following someone
I know.
that really sucks.
For like thousands of years, they got to deal with this guy.
And they have to deal for him. So
Yeah.
it's like, it just seems like you guys were sent to make the world a worse place. Blindly forced to do
they made
it.
the Three Rings. It's not a good
So,
thing in the end.
Yeah,
It's
and we focused on them so much so,
Right.
which we had to because of two main characters, but it was still like, or three main characters. So
Yeah.
I was like, I don't like them.
I kind of get like King Dur when he's like, I don't care about these elves. Like these elves living for thousands of years, and now they're worried that they're gonna die. Like, tough.
So
You
that,
had
the
your
rest
time.
of us are living
Yeah, we
the
get like
exact
40
same.
years, and then a rock falls on our
Yes,
head. Like, get out of here. We don't care
100%.
anymore.
100%.
I will say the show is stunning visuals, just
Mm-hmm.
absolutely beautiful. They threw a lot of money into this show, and it showed. I mean, like some really beautiful vistas, beautiful music, incredible costumes, and it was like a heavy fantasy show. One thing I love about House of the Dragon is how it tries to get into like the nitty gritty of like, okay, what is like the day-to-day life like sometimes? What's it like to have children? What's it like to pay taxes? What's it like to go to a mummer's farce? And you know, Rings of Power is doing a bigger job of doing a more all-encompassing fantasy story, going here, going there, going all over the place, telling these big tales, talking in big grandiose terms, having these monologues and speeches. It is that. They're very different shows, and I think can both be appreciated in their own ways. But it was an incredibly beautiful show. I'm interested to see where it goes. As someone who has not read any of the Tolkien books, I was learning a lot on that show, and it was pretty fascinating. I will ask you this one question about Rings of Power, though, Jessica. If you had to spend all your time with one group, we know it's not going to be the elves, who would you pick?
No.
To be like your one group of
The
people
thing
to
is,
like spend time with.
I don't want it to be, but it probably would end up being the Harfoots.
The Harfoots. Okay,
I genuinely, the reason I say I don't want it to be is because other than the dwarves, they work really hard. They work really hard to hide themselves
They're
too.
moving,
Constantly moving.
harvesting.
The last thing I
If you
I
hurt
like
your
doing
ankle,
in life,
boom, you're left
the dead
behind.
one.
That's
and,
tough stuff.
And then you're like, honestly, the weakest of like, well, when I say the weakest, I mean like when they're like, okay, well, we have to leave him behind because we got to go hide. It's like you're gonna be eaten by any creature that's there.
Yeah.
Because you're you're just the Harfoots.
They're tough. That's why they hide. That's why they gotta be so scared all the time.
And they're always on their toes about everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, that would be the life I would hate to have, but they're the greatest people. I think
Well-
I love the family. I love the community. I love always being there for
Yeah.
each other in this like world of like we give what we take and like we also share what we find. Like so, I was like, I love this. I would want to.
Well,
be there.
and these Harfoots eventually they do settle down and they
Yeah.
realize we got to stop moving. We got to care. We got to have community. We got to build, and they become the hobbits, and it's beautiful.
And then I wouldn't want to be them during the actual Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, during the Lord of the Rings, not great.
Not so much.
Not great for the hobbits. I think I would pick the dwarves. The dwarves are pretty
They're
metal,
cool.
dude.
They're sick.
It's tough. You might die in a cave in. You spend a lot of time underground, but they got natural light coming in.
You spend a lot of time underground. I already spent my
You do
entire
some
life in my
singing,
room.
You got some cool armor. You get to grow
Great
a nice
food.
beard. Good food.
Not many
It's a
women.
good time. Not many women, but beautiful women.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
Oh, when they
bearded
show
women
up, I'm here for them.
with beautiful songs.
How many women did we see?
We saw a few female dwarves. I mean, we mainly only seen Durin's wife
Yeah.
for most of it, but there were some others hanging around in the
I
background
assume they
there.
all can sing like her.
I
So
think she's
if
like the
that's
best
true-
singer.
Yeah,
That's
she's
why
the,
she gets to marry
she's
the
Diana
prince,
Ross,
right?
but the rest of the but I
The
would
rest of
wanna
the
be-
Surprise, but
Yeah.
she's Diana Ross.
I don't mind. That's still a
That's still good.
compliment. That's still a
really
good deal. That's a good deal.
Hey, all the backup singers you see in the world, they're all amazing
that is
singers.
that is the hard part. Imagine you're a little dwarf and you wanna sing.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna sing. You wanna be a singer. Everyone can hear you when you're practicing.
Oh, it's
Everyone
echoey,
will
very
hear you.
echoey.
And they'll be like, shut the hell
And
up.
if you're bad at singing, the rocks might collapse.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my.
It's not just a tomato.
Never mind. I can't be with the dwarves because I'm always.
I want to
singing.
hang out with those dwarves. We don't want to hang out with the elves and
Yeah.
keep me out of Numenor. It's boring there.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, but
I
it's
just
boring.
don't like who's leading it.
Also, leave before it's too late.
That's the
We
see.
saw
That's the
in
problem.
Lord of the Rings what happens to Numenor.
That's the
so-
problem. That's the problem. I would
gotta
have
get
been.
out of
I
there.
would have been at Numenor. I would have been at Numenor, and I would have drowned.
Jessica's there at the bar like, screw these elves.
The thing
Get
is-
them out of
The
here.
thing is, and I get my comeuppance. I get my comeuppance, and that's the hard part. She's not telling the people that like, hey, we're about to die.
I know, if you're having this vision of the Great Wave, maybe warn people.
Tell me so I can leave if I need to.
let's
I'll
move away
stay.
from the coast.
Some people just choose to stay.
Yeah.
We know how it works.
They
Some
just
people are
party
like,
till the
hey,
end.
I'm gonna stay here. Because
stay here.
and I would be that person being like, where's the first ship out?
Get me out of here. Well, Jessica, what a season it's been for us.
Mm-hmm.
This is it for Big Question Presents Talking Dragons. For now,
For now.
we'll be putting Talking Dragons into deep storage for a little bit until our
The
fantasy
Disney vault.
shows return. Back into the vault until we get some more fantasy shows. But be sure to come back next week for the return of the big question you all know and love with a few little changes. You have to come check it out to see what those are.
And one of the changes, I won't be there.
What? You're not going to be there?
I chose today to tell you that I'm not doing
Oh
it
my
anymore.
gosh. Well, I don't know if
refuse.
that's true. You'll have to tune in next week to find out. But don't forget to check out our many great merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com. Follow Jessica at Lulu Clemons. Follow me at Brandon Barrick. And be sure to subscribe to Big Question wherever you get your podcasts or watch it or listen to it or whatever you do. Do that. Subscribe to all of New Rockstar's social channels. We got great stuff all over the place. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Dracarys.
Dracarys.
Bye.